Yeah, I can't wait for the world to end.
That's the spirit.
Thanks to the Amazon Prime Video project called Fallout, it comes as no surprise that the game series has been getting a lot of media attention lately. If you didn't know, they released a television series based on the popular role-playing video game franchise. I have watched 1.5 episodes of the TV show so far. I could say that as a fan of Fallout 3 and New Vegas, I like it a lot and for sure I'm gonna finish this. Not long after the TV show's release, social media confirmed it with a huge hype train, and by this I mean gamer community. I must admit that Stream was impressive these days, with numbers under the whole Fallout series, and all of this happened unexpectedly thanks to the TV show. This brief introduction might give you an idea of how I ended up with Fallout 4 Game of the Year edition, which I wanted to say a few words about in general, mainly because of the impact it had on me and my recent gaming, and also because I would like to be part of this community at some point and contribute with my presence here, as it means quite something for me, because if it's not about Fallout, I am kind of a fanboy if it comes to this old game engine from Bethesda, and with this I mean I played a lot of in Elder Scrolls games, which I cherish a lot. I would prefer not to give this old Fallout for a full review in this video, as I want to focus more on things that caught my attention in 2024 after the TV show was released. So please forgive me if I do dodge some topics or I will go into too big details about things that are mainly concerning my mind. So let's begin.
We love you too.
Hold on!
I will be honest with you, I would never think of buying or even playing Fallout 4 because of what Bethesda has done with the game after all these years of great series, which ended in my opinion on New Vegas. When I saw it for the first time, I felt like it was another Skyrim release with less options than the original, and by that I'm trying to say I was very disappointed how the overall formula of Fallout 4 was less mature than previous games. I really didn't like what they did out of the player creation phase. They just simplified it too much, which shouldn't be an issue, right? Well, that's not all that bothered me. Usually I play full intelligence and charisma builds, and I did in Fallout 4 also, but guess what? Charisma is useless. I used it maybe a couple of times, which is a huge surprise for this kind of game. What's even worse, the dialogues were very boring and short. All NPCs jumped to some conclusion immediately, which ruined my immersion a lot. Same goes for the options available for the player. Some things just ruin too much of the fun out of the conversation with other characters by making some topics immediately obvious. Seriously, let's not forget how much this game series is about immersion, and I really don't understand why they managed to simplify this dialogue system so much. Aside from poor dialogues, I like the combat system because it reminded me a lot about the Call of Duty series. I heard that many players didn't like such decision with this design. Personally, I can't complain much and couldn't care even less about this combat system, which is pretty much fine. Game is of course set in a post-apocalyptic RPG world where we emerge from one of the vaults. In this story it was number 111. After leaving the vault we go on a mission to find our child and wife murderer, or simply we can play an adventurer around before even touching the main storyline, which of course I did as I didn't feel emotional attachment to the child. I understand that the post-apo world should be rather empty, but something leaves me uneasy about this game, telling me how empty it is and how many teams were just left behind without proper finishing touches. I really think that this game could be a lot better if they would just follow the patterns of previous games and pour more soul into it. At the same time, sometimes they manage to catch my attention. I will give you an example of this. I searched the old farm, I found an old PC, hacked it, I found the notes that mentioned the underground under the farm. It was a surprise for me because it wasn't the first time I found it, and thanks to that search I was rewarded. That's what I like in the Fallout series actually, that exploration should be rewarded. This is exactly what old games were doing very well. This is what I like to call poured soul to the game. We have of course Vault Tech assisted targeting system known from previous games, which is fine and you will enjoy it, unless you put all your stats points in charisma and intelligence like me, which for an irony wasn't too intelligent. You can't imagine how that system is useless with only one perception point, and if you can, welcome in my club, dear friend. It felt good how much attention they gave to the crafting system and power armors. Also, base building was a nice addition that made me more motivated to go treasure hunting in the world game. Characters customization gives us the ability to create amazing avatars combined with the amazing modder community. As always, the possibilities are endless. I haven't spent too much time playing around with my customization because I always end up putting a cool edgy helmet on my head or at least a full face tattoo. When it comes to companions, I like this feature. It's a little better to have them around in some situation, but I was always desperately looking for a way to spend more time as a lone wanderer, as it reminds me of a good times from Fallout 3. I also had a situation where our dog blocked me indoors a few times, which annoyingly made the game less fun due to baggy collision boxes. I'm worried how they made the quests in this game. Many things make some sense and are enjoyable, but I think a lot of quests are very generic, especially for Minutemen assessments, which are all the time about the same. Build the defense system, eliminate the riders, bring some or deliver something. I found it boring at some point, and as an old newbie when it comes to the game dev, I understand how hard it is to make some fulfillment and satisfaction from delivering good quality quests in game with this huge world. Of course, not all quests are bad and boring, but it is what it is for me. Did I mention that I'm old? Well, I really do live in the past sometimes, and maybe it's not so fair to the developers as they are constantly trying to make a better product, and that's the business fault of how the game industry looks like today. I don't know. I just remember what Bethesda did around with the marketing and development of Fallout 4. There were many issues on the way, and the final climax of negative energy that burst into the communities when Fallout 76 was released killed my interest for years. I think it was the best example of how to not release the game ever known in the game industry, at least for me, before CD Projekt Red did something even more ridiculous with Cyberpunk 2077, but this is another weird and long story. Speaking of Bethesda lowering the quality of their products, does anyone remember the Fallout 76 back controversy, $5 compensation and other weird moves and stories? Well, I wasn't physically affected by it, but I can tell you for sure that Bethesda, with all these weird moves and decisions, did something that made me prepared for Cyberpunk 2077 release failure later. I don't want to roast Bethesda so much. At the end of the day, a lot of wonderful people work there, and their products have that kind of magic that makes you passionate about video games. Maybe all these problems were because of one weird guy in the company, or maybe marketing stuff. It doesn't matter today because I learned something valuable in these last years, and I want to share it with you. Don't buy pre-orders. Wait for the full product. Better wait for polishing of the product. If there are no special circumstances that limit your time on this planet, just wait and let the corp patch what should be patched in the first place. There are enough good titles on the market that are worth the time. To end this short and poor roast, I admit that the TV show reignited in me an old passion for the game series. Fallout 4 is a good game these days. I can't say much more about Fallout 76, which I haven't played and will never play for obvious reasons. Do I recommend Fallout 4 in the year 2024? It's not easy coming out of my mouth, but yes, game is good enough to pay it extra attention after all these years of patches, lowered price, and amazing modifications from the community. I just give you a warning, my dear viewer, be smart about buying pre-order and think twice before putting all the trust into big companies in the end. They are only about the numbers for obvious reasons. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked my video. If it's not a problem, please leave a like, comment, or even share the video. It will help me to grow as a creator and do even better content in the future. Subscribe my channel if you wish to get some more materials like this. Until next time, cheers.
War never changes.